I just went through the whole spiel and forgot to hit record. Replacing the master cylinder, pretty simple, not a difficult process at all. All I gotta do is disconnect these two pieces right here, and then there's two nuts that screw in the mount, attaches it to the firewall, and then there's a third nut, bolt, that goes right there, right underneath the master cylinder, and that holds, that's this bolt right here, holds this bracket. That bracket goes against the firewall, and that nut, like I said, goes beneath the master cylinder, not to the master cylinder itself. All right. Last night I got the old master cylinder taken out, preparing the new one. Now when these new ones, I just, the first one I've ever purchased, this thing was just all oily. I don't know why that is, but that's, I thought that was annoying, but probably necessary for some reason. Maybe to keep it from rusting or something, I don't know. This is what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna check out the hardware for that bracket that mounts the new master cylinder to the firewall and see what that looks like. Alright, guess which one is the old master cylinder? You know, it doesn't look too bad. I'm definitely gonna save it. There is some crud in there, but I think it can definitely be polished up and reused. So, yeah, so now I'm going to install this one. Alright, so I'm just soaking up some parts. That's the bracket that I have to reuse to mount the new master cylinder back onto the Camaro, or onto the Camaro. And as I'm waiting for that, which I'll actually probably just quit for the night and let that soak overnight. But anyway, I wanted to look for some markings on the original master cylinder, because this is the original master cylinder. So flip it on the bottom, and it says 29. What is that? It looks like a 29868. So I'm wondering if that's a date code. Don't know. Do some more research. Made in the USA, of course. And I saw this symbol here. It looks like a C and an L stamped. Well, maybe, I don't know, but with an 8 next to it. That symbol looks extremely familiar. Earlier I was looking through this book right here, which is a fantastic resource. I highly recommend that anyone with a 68 Camaro buy this book. Don't do anything else until you buy this book. It gives you everything. Again, this is the original master cylinder. That's actually not what mine looks like. It looks similar to that, but it's only got one clamp on it. Anyway, I don't know what this symbol means yet. I'm going to look through this book some more and see what the heck that means, and see if I can decode those numbers. Alright, so I did a little bit of research. I've got several different books on first-gen Camaros, and there's supposed to be a 2-letter code somewhere near the front of the master cylinder on a machined pad, and the only machined pad that I can see is right here, and there is not a 2-letter code. Those are all numbers. 288 and then 82. And that, of course, doesn't match any of the supposed options for the 2-letter codes for 67 and 68. I will say that in one of the books that I have, the master cylinder that they have pictured that looks exactly like mine is for a 67. My car is a 68, but I don't see any 2-letter codes. For 68, manual, drum brakes, what does it say? It is supposed to be letter B and S, and I don't see that anywhere. I was wondering if that is a double stamp. It looks like CL or GL, or CE or GE. I can't really tell. I don't think that's the code, however, because I do remember seeing that same stamp in one of my other books that I haven't gone back and found yet, so I don't know exactly what that means. And then the number 8 next to it. I'm assuming that this is a date, just because of the 68 right there. Well, there's so many 8s and possible 6s. I don't know, it's hard to tell now. Actually, that could be a 3. According to Huntemeyer and Henderson, in their first-gen book that they wrote, master cylinders were originally painted flat black with the machined surfaces left bare cast iron. The bale wires were left bare steel. The covers were gold cadmium plated. That seems to be gold, and if I were to make up a word for it, the material, I would say cadmium. So, yeah, that looks right. So put on a light coat of gun oil or paint with surface gray cast coat. Alright, so that, I guess, explains why this was, the brand new one had some sort of oil all over it. But based off of what I just read off to you there, I think this is the original. Because, I mean, it pretty much describes it to a T. Alright, well, the nuts, bolt, and washer did soak all the way through. And I don't know if I had a before picture last night, but this looks pretty darn good. Oh yeah. Definitely, that looks brand spanking new. Well, when that is done, I'm going to go ahead and mount the master cylinder. And then pour some fluid in there. Bleed it of the air bubbles and move on to the next thing. Alright, looking out here in the sun, I just pulled the bracket out for the master cylinder out of the Rust-Oleum bath that I just gave it. I gave it 2 baths because it's shaped so funny. It could have stayed in there longer. As you can see, that stuff won't scrape off yet, but it's still a heck of a lot better than what it was. This thing was just all dark and black and rusted, and now it looks much better. I won't say new, but it looks a lot better. Alright, so this is what it all looks like before I put on the new master cylinder. I know the right thing to do is to replace everything, lines and all. Pardon the camera movement there. But I am taking an uneducated guess, and I'm saying that these lines are good. I really didn't have too many problems getting them unscrewed from the old master cylinder. The rear brake line gave me the most issues, but I was still able to unscrew everything without twisting up the lines or anything like that. Looking up at the firewall, you can still see some surface rust up there. I try to clean it up a little bit. It just wipes right off for the most part. It actually shows up more on camera than it does in real life. So these bolts right here, I'm not liking how those look. I sprayed some Rust-Oleum on those. I didn't really let them soak at all, but not for very long, maybe 5 minutes was all, which does probably nothing, and then I wiped it. I mean, obviously they still have threads on them and they're going to work, so I think that will be good for just being able to drive the car around the block a few times. Now what I've done is I just went ahead and took off this small line that goes, no it doesn't, yeah, the one that goes up to here, feeds that port, and then I also took the rear, I don't want to call it brake line, but I mean I don't know what else to call it. This the rear, the one that goes to the rear brakes, that goes back here to up to there. and I'm soaking them in Rust-Oleum because I don't have a replacement right now, and hopefully that'll work. Hopefully that's okay. I guess we'll find out. But while that's doing that, now I'm going to go ahead and pour brake fluid in here and bleed the brakes. I got this Duralast brake bleeder kit, and I'm not going to bench bleed them. I'm just going to bleed them here because I mean that's where the thing is supposed to go anyways. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right. I just put the synthetic .3 brake fluid in both the chambers, and already, without even doing anything, bubbles are coming out. So that's good. Nothing seems to be leaking out of there, so that's good. But I want to watch these two because these two fittings, they just don't seem to be in very tightly. So okay, forgot to hit record again. Said a whole bunch of things, don't know what I said, not gonna repeat it. Just bleeding brakes, the front brakes there. Look at all those air bubbles. My brake pedal is going all the way to the floor though. Alright, I'm just gonna keep doing this. Looks like I gotta fill it up with some more brake fluid too. Okay, before I put the front wheels back on, I am really wanting to clean these up because they are just really disgusting. Both wheels are clean. That was the first one I did over there. This one's done, and now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up in some plastic and tape, and I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for paint. Okay, you know what? Why in the world do I need to wrap this up? It's just a tire. Also, it's like a 25-year-old tire, believe it or not. Still looks amazing, not even dry rotted, still holds air. These are great condition. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go ahead and spray paint with the Stops Rust flat protective enamel. Okay, and then throw these bad boys back on the front, and I'm done for the night. All right, this is the aftermath for the second tire, just freshly done. I'm gonna get out of here because it smells. I mean, it always looks good when it's freshly painted, but so that one's over there, that one's over there. I'll probably keep these laying where they're at overnight, and so then in the morning they'll be dry, and I'll flip them over and get the other side. Oh, by the way, if you like this light, this thing is amazing, and I highly recommend you get it. Just showing you a before shot of what one of the front drums, actually no, this is a rear drum, what it looks like. Used a scratch pad, Scotch-Brite, and some brake fluid, or not brake fluid, brake cleaner, and got a lot of that junk out of there. It was really difficult to get a lot of that, but that's what the scratch pad was for as well. So I didn't touch the walls, however, so I just kind of wiped that with a rag, a clean rag, and that's all I'm going to do with that. Okay, it is the next day. Now the paint is all dry. I used a flat black to paint the brake drums. This is the front, obviously, and the drums, the brand new drums that I bought for the rear end, don't seem to fit quite right. They fit, but they're really tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean up the original drums, or the old drums, and try to put those on, see if they fit any better, and if they do, then I'll just do the exact same thing I did for the front, and make it all good. If you don't have one of these things, you should go get one. They're pretty good. However, I couldn't get it to power with the Camaro itself. I think I had to actually turn the engine on for it to work, which I didn't think I had to do, but I think that's what you do have to do. That's what I had to do with the Camry. So regardless, I'm just doing that. Alright, as you can see, the Camaro is now out of the garage. I was able to pull it out on its own power. The brakes are working, finally. Went ahead and bled them this morning, or finished bleeding them this morning, and drove it around the block. And now I'm able to pull the car in so the engine is facing towards the house and the exhaust can pour out of the garage door way area. So whew, that is it. I can now focus my efforts on other things, such as broken taillights like this one. I can give you a closer look at that later. I've got that on order, as well as I gotta install the headlights. Once those things are working, the thing is pretty much gonna be in legal, I believe. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, catch me next time.